So we just took a look at the composition of the Electoral College. Now we need to take a look at how the Electoral College changes the makeup of it. There's one thing I didn't say in that video that I should probably say. I hinted at it, but I don't know if I expressly said it. The Electoral College is not just one body of people. It's in fact multiple bodies of people, right? So there's a group of, in Texas, 38 votes, in this case 38 people, who have agreed to vote for one candidate if that candidate wins. There's a separate group of people, another group of people, that have agreed to vote for the other candidate, talk about the two major parties anyway, if that party wins. And I suppose if we had another, it just hasn't come up, because third-party candidates don't win states, at least they haven't so far anyway. Not saying they never will, but they haven't. Not recently, not quite a long time. There would be another group of 38 people who would commit to vote for that people. So Electoral College is, I don't know where that term came from. Doesn't matter for our test, but that's how it works. It's not just one body of people, it's different bodies of people. Just groups of people, just regular folks, really, just regular folks, who have agreed to vote for specific candidates if those candidates win. And it's all or nothing, all right? So that's how it works. So how does the number of electoral votes change? Well, I want you to think of the number of electoral votes like a pie, okay? So this is the, all right, this is the U.S., okay? This is 538 votes. That's 500. We're going to make a little pie graph, okay? A little pie chart. 538 votes, all right? And it's based on population, right? By states, okay? So let's say that this is the piece that Texas gets. This is not the scale. My artistic qualities are not going to come through here. California's going to get a bigger one. It's going to be, New York's going to be like that maybe. Florida will be like this. I'm not sure. Pennsylvania, somewhere in there. And then, like Rhode Island and Connecticut, I mean, they're going to have little bitty pieces, right? They're going to be pretty small, right? There's going to be some little bitty slivers here, okay? So it's all 50 states. Divide up these 538 votes by population, all right? So how does it change? Well, as the population changes, and that happens with the census, okay? It happens with the census. As the population of the country changes, the proportions will change, right? So if Texas increases population, it's going to get more votes. If Texas decreases population, it's going to get fewer votes in the Electoral College, right? If another state increases or decreases population, which means it increases or decreases representation in Congress, which then means it'll increase or decrease the number of votes in the Electoral College, right? So that's how it works. Now, does that number ever change? Right? So there's two parts to this question. One is, how are the number of votes apportioned? How are they divided up within this 538 total votes? Okay, because that's the total right now. We have 50 states. The way it's set up, the whole history of it, we don't need to know right now. But 538 votes are divided amongst all 50 states, right? And the percentage changes depending on how the percentages of population change. Well, does that number ever change? The 538, does the size of the pie ever change? Can it get bigger? Can it get smaller? And the answer is yes, it can. The only way that happens is by adding or subtracting states. That's the only way that happens. By adding or subtracting states. The only way the total number of electoral votes, all right, the total number of electoral votes, the only way that changes is if you increase or decrease the number of states. So as our country grew over the years, as more states were expanded, as the country expanded, as more states were admitted into the Union, this pie grew. So it started smaller and it got bigger and bigger and bigger, all right? if we think about the Civil War, okay, that's a pretty clear example, pretty easy to see. So we have before the Civil War, we have during CW, the Civil War, we have after the Civil War, okay? So before the Civil War, there were 33 states, right? 33 states. So now we have 50 states, right? So 50 states, you got 538 votes. 33 states, you had fewer votes. Doesn't matter how many votes, not for our purposes. You have fewer votes, right? So your pie would be, let's say, that big, okay? Right? Let's say it would be that big, right? Well, during the Civil War, we only had 22 states, and there was an election, okay? There was an election. Lincoln got reelected in 1864. There was an election. Well, poll number's going to get even smaller, right? It's not exactly the scale. Because what happened to those 11 states? Well, they left. Right? They left. They went to the Confederacy. They joined the Confederacy. They formed the Confederacy. Those are the southern states that seceded. They withdrew from the Union. So there's fewer states. You had 33 before the war, 22 during the war. Well, after the war, during Reconstruction, as those states were readmitted back into the Union, South Carolina, Texas, Alabama, Mississippi, so forth, as they were readmitted, well, eventually, you had 33 states again. So now you got this size pie again. See if I can draw down here. It's kind of, see if that shows up. So now our pie is kind of like this. It's big, 50 states. Before the Civil War, it was only 33. And here it was divided according to population, just like now. Well, during the Civil War, you only had northern states, right, for 1864. And after the Civil War, you had 33 states, right? So and yes, it's contentious. Did Lincoln really think that they withdrew or that they were part of the Union? It's complicated. As far as our example goes, we can think that during the Civil War, there were only 22 states, before 33 and after 33. So the total number shrunk and then it expanded. And then from here it kept expanding from 33 all the way to 50 as the other 17 states were admitted back into the Union. So the Electoral College was going to grow each time. If you see a question on this, and you might see a question on this, it's probably not going to be a simple, just how does it work? It's going to have a graph or a chart or something like that. There's going to be some kind of analysis, but this is the underlying principle to the question if you get asked about this. All right, so this is how it works. It's a pretty simple process. That's how it works. So this wraps up our section on government.